The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. The Nets give the Knicks all they can handle tonight. Jalen Brunson, 5 key points down the stretch. Karl-Anthony Towns with 1:04 to go puts the Knicks up 92-87. Got the roll down 1. Nets need a miracle here, and the miracle is not answered. So the Knicks have beaten the Nets 14 times in a row. Career win number 500 for Mike Brown, the 10th fastest to do that in terms of coaching in the NBA history. The Knicks win it by 193-92. Oh, boy. Welcome to our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pidto along with Alan Hahn. So the theme here of late has been play an inferior opponent, get off to a bad start, and then blow them off the court. Tonight, play an inferior opponent, get off to a really rocky start, and barely hang on. I know a win is a win, but this start situation probably needs to turn around.
The problem is that this has been the same conversation now, game after game. It really does feel like, and it is something I'm sure from Mike Brown that he feels like we're having the same conversation about the poor starts. That's certainly there. This was one, like you mentioned, normally it's blow the team out in the second half. Knicks got up 14 early fourth quarter, and the Nets wouldn't go away, and it was just a different level of energy the Nets were playing with that the Knicks just never could get to that level. They just out-talented the Nets tonight. They just were better when it mattered against the Nets tonight. But that game was on a platter for Brooklyn to win and put an end to this long streak that the Knicks have against them, but now it's 14. You take wins, you stack wins, but you got to learn even when you do win a game that there are things that need to be fixed. And while the end of the game, missed free throws and things left the door open, I still say it's the first quarter, it's the first 5 minutes of the game. Mike Brown had to call another early timeout. These are the things that they will be talking about more than anything else in this game.
Knicks had a season low 14 first quarter points. They had a season high 22 turnovers for the game. As you mentioned, they were up 84-70, the Knicks, in the fourth quarter, and then the Nets went on a 17-0 run.
17-0 run.
Before the Knicks were able to pull it out down the stretch.
The Knicks went 6 minutes without a basket, and that's part of the problem. So you see here, watch, there's an air ball right there, right? And you want to get back transition defense, none there. You know, these are the little things that bother you, that concern you. OG miss. Watch the Nets run, and the Knicks don't. Another issue here. This is transition basketball, 20 fast break points for the Nets. They were the team with the better energy. Look, you beat them by 54 in the previous game, as now Brunson in clutch time does what Brunson does in clutch time, which is score big buckets and help his team win. That's one there that puts them up 3. But the mentality that you have to have is to understand that this team here, soft defense, 3. It's the missed 3. Okay, so the Knicks still in control. And there's their Towns. That's the up 5. They give up a 3 after this. This game should be over if you just play defense. They give up an easy layup. They give up a 3. Towns has to make 2. He doesn't.
Misses both.
And now here's an opportunity with a 1-point game. But Mitchell Robinson gets deflection. Now it's down to 1.5. And the Nets can't get any kind of shot out of this whatsoever. This is just a catch and heave. Not happening. The Knicks escape. Mike Brown's 500th win. I'm sure he'll want to talk about it for hours with his friends, remembering his 500th win. But I just want to repeat, I know we got the box score here. The Knicks beat this team by 54 points. What did you expect the next time you were going to play them? You had to expect a better effort, and you got it, but you were lucky enough to out-talent this Brooklyn team.
Notice the Knicks outscored the Nets from the line by 13 points, and again, worth repeating, 22 turnovers for the Knicks.
Yeah.
The most they've committed in any one game.
And we're talking about shot clock violations, offensive fouls. This wasn't just losing the basketball. This was also a bad possessions where the shot clock buzzer went off and you didn't get off a good shot, or there were some offensive fouls in there as well. Those are also turnovers. These are all things that need to be cleaned up before we get to April.
Now, the Nets are not necessarily that highly skilled, but they're very athletic. And Jalen Brunson came up big down the stretch, but they made his life miserable. Now, obviously, he's coming back off the neck injury.
Yeah, he didn't look himself.
Missed the Pacers game Tuesday night, but there's something about the athletic double on Brunson that seems to be slowing this offense down.
Yeah, well,
any truth to that, you think, at all, or what?
We have seen the Knicks go to two-guard offenses where Brunson's off the ball. That has worked very well, and that takes it away. We have also seen the Knicks set screens, and then when they trap that screen, Brunson's quick with the pocket pass. there was not a lot of tempo in this offense whatsoever. Again, credit the way Jordi Fernandez had his team played defensively. They were going to try to take Brunson out of the game completely. And for the most part, they did until crunch time. But again, this was somewhat about how the Nets defended. But let's not act like suddenly people have found the way to stop Jalen Brunson. The guy's last couple of games before this one, he was giving you 28, 29, 30 a game and 8 or 9 assists a game. He was still playing at a high level. This was a one-off, in my opinion, when it comes to him struggling. And I don't know how much that's to do with how he feels physically right now. But there's 4 other guys on the floor, and everybody was all part of what was a very slow start to this game that allowed the Nets. We heard Mike Brown say this. They knock down 1 or 2, they knock down 1 or 2, they start feeling good. You don't want to do that early in a game. You need them to feel you. Once again, the Knicks don't do that.
All right, let us, Alan, say hello to Monica McNutt. She was on the radio tonight on ESPN New York. Monica, it's March. You could say the Knicks are 3rd in the East. The Nets are 13th. 3 versus 13, and 13 gave number 3. All number 3 could handle tonight. You like that?
I do. I would have never been able to string together so many eloquent numbers. But the one I got is 22 turnovers for 23 points off of those turnovers. Guys, yuck. I did not enjoy this affair. And I think we'll talk a lot about the start, 14 points being a season low, and allowing those guys to get going from the three-point line, the Brooklyn Nets, that is. But what about the finish? You missed 3 free throws that you had an opportunity to maybe not seal, but you would have made it far more difficult for the Nets to be able to come back and win the basketball game, as opposed to this thing being a 1-point ball game with 5 seconds or 2.5 seconds to go. Like, yuck. And I heard you, and I agree with the idea that you don't want this trend of starting slow against bad teams to become a habit as you roll into very formidable opponents. Pat and I were talking on the radio, what is the solution? And he's like, is it a better team? I don't like that being the solution because you're relying on your opponent. You don't play up to your opponent. You got to have internal fire. You got to have an accountability to one another, no matter who's sitting on the opposite bench.
All right, guys, Karl-Anthony Towns, excellent game despite the 2 missed free throws late, 26 and 15. Breathe like a winner, Allen, presented by Blue Air. Take us through Cat's night. He was dominant.
Yeah, there was no one on the floor that could guard him one-on-one. And early on, he was trying to get a lot done in the painted area, trying to get it at the rim. Frustrated because, as usual, not getting fouls that he thought were fouls called on him. But he kept going, and he kept going to the basket. This wasn't a big three-point night for him. He only made 1. He only took 3, but he took 13 free throws, which tells you he was drawing contact. He was doing a lot of the work in the paint because, again, the Nets don't have the size or strength to deal with him in the paint. That was a huge bucket, catch and finish, showing off his athleticism, of course, showing off the New York as well. And I feel like that's what he gave you. Of course, the 15 rebounds were very valuable. Monica, in this game, it felt like his minutes were way more impactful than Mitchell Robinson's minutes, and we don't often get to say that.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, in the second quarter, he was the guy that sort of helped this team wake up, even though they went into halftime with a 6-point deficit. But I think he had 14 points all in that second quarter. There are positives to pull, but there's a whole lot of head-scratching moments. We had Mo Diawara with us post-game, and it was good to hear from the young rookie, like, that wasn't a great game for us, right? Like, it wasn't, but we're fortunate that we were able to get the win. I asked him, what's happening, Mo? What are you observing that is causing you guys to have this trend of these sluggish starts? He didn't quite have an answer for me, and I understand, but he did acknowledge that it's something that this team has to address. So as long as they are all on one accord that it has to be addressed, the next step is to actually address it.
And he ended up finishing the game because Landry Shamet, I guess, had some knee soreness. And I was noticing, Monica, obviously no Josh Hart, so Shamet in the starting lineup. And Shamet really looked like he was having a hard time moving laterally, keeping guys in front. Like, he really struggled that way. So having Diawara out there to close the game, good experience for the young player, but also just something with Shamet to keep an eye on.
For sure.
All right, Monica, thank you as always. We'll see you on Sunday. Knicks back in action. They'll be playing host to the Washington Wizards. Up next, we're going to hear from Mike Brown. 500 wins, 10th fastest to get to that plateau in the history of the NBA. And the Knicks hang on to win 93-92. Now 46 wins on the season.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Knicks survived tonight in Brooklyn, Final count 93-92. Mike Brown, 500th win as an NBA coach, 10th fastest in NBA history. 46 wins now. This is all regular season. 46 wins now for the Knicks. Kings, he won 107. Lakers, 42. Cavs, 305. His post-game comments now, presented by Chase.
First of all, want to say, give Brooklyn a lot of credit. I thought they came out and they were extremely physical from the beginning of the game throughout the whole game, and it impacted us. And starting with Jordy on down, Jordy outcoached me. They outplayed us in a lot of areas, and we were just able to find a way to get a win. But same stuff that you normally talk about when you're on the road. If you turn the ball over like we did, if you lose the transition game like we did, we also lost the second chance, the rebound game, too, in terms of second chance points. And we didn't shoot it well from the three-point line. It's usually a recipe for a loss. But our guys found a way to somehow get a win tonight.
What can you guys do to maybe get a little more comfortable against ball pressure of that style, whether it's, their press or even kind of the way they were showing on Jalen on pick and rolls? Like, what can you guys do to get more comfortable in those situations?
And we have shown we've been comfortable with it in the past. Tonight's just one of those nights. We didn't do a good job handling their pressure. You just got to go by somebody if somebody's pressuring you, because they're probably not going to call a foul. You just got to go by them, and you got to make the right play. And if you make the right play after going by them a couple of times, the pressure will loosen up. And then, whether we get blitzed or we get hit, a little later, we just have to make sure we get off the ball timely. I thought, we had more 24-second shot clock violations. Did I say 24-second shot clock violations tonight, probably than the whole year combined. There were a lot of things that were unlike our group, and obviously we're going to go back and watch the film and try to get better from it. But again, you give Jordy, his staff, and their players a lot of credit. But we'll see what we can clean up going forward.
Mike, why did it seem like you guys were so uncomfortable with the physicality tonight?
Again, we've played in a lot of games that we've faced physicality, and we've done a fairly good job with it. Again, it could have been a one-off, but you gotta. I don't want to take anything away from Brooklyn and Jordy, but and his staff. But again, there were a lot of things that weren't characteristic of what we've been doing throughout most of the year.
Mike, was there anything specific to start the game? I think you called a timeout. They were up 9-3. Outside of the physicality that kind of irked you and wanted you to get the group together?
Yeah, I thought, again, I thought we were real lackadaisical with the basketball. We had some turnovers to start the game. Like, we had 13 turnovers at halftime. And, again, I don't know where we rank or all that, or where we sit during the whole year, but I know as of late, for the most part, we've been pretty good in that area, and 13 or 14 is usually what we have for a game. We had 13 at halftime, and we ended the game with 22. And again, it's not a good ingredient to have when you're trying to get a road win, no matter who you're playing. And if your approach is not what it is, and the other team feels it, anybody can get beat at any time on any level, let alone this level. I said it before the game. Brooklyn, I think they went into Detroit 6 games ago and beat Detroit. So we know that we have to play better, and I believe in our guys. I believe our guys will play better.
Hi, Mike. During the games, there's a lot of double teams for Jalen and also for Cat. How do you think that they're comfortable with those double teams, and how, talking about the last 2 free throws, do you believe that these free throws can be improved through training, or just basically it's a matter of fact, the players decide the free throw stuff?
So the free throws, I mean, Cat's a good free throw shooter. He's shot free throws extremely well throughout the course of the year, and same with Jalen. We work on him almost every day. We'll continue to work on him. So again, it's unusual to see Cat miss 2. It's even unusual to see Jalen miss 1 at that point in the game. And then, I mean, Jalen and Cat, they're both great players. This is game 1171 for us. So they faced double teams probably 60 out of the 71 games, if not more. So they face double teams all the time, and we've been pretty good at attacking the double teams. Again, you got to give Brooklyn credit. We probably held on to the ball just a little too long tonight. Our spacing wasn't always great, but again, we'll continue to watch film and improve in that area. But it's not a huge concern of mine.
OG Anunoby tonight, 16 points as the Knicks hang on to win at the Nets, 93-92.
I mean, winning is hard, so every game, no team's just going to lay down and let us beat them. And they're all talented players, They're all very good players, so we just try to learn and build, win or lose. Of course, we'd rather win by 50. I think everyone would rather win by 50, but sometimes a game goes like this, and you can learn a lot in games like this. So everything's a learning experience, and you can grow from it.
What do you say about your team that they had a 17-0 run in the fourth quarter, but yet you still won the game?
Oh, just we're a resilient group. We can respond. I think we've shown that throughout the year, and in the past we can respond to runs. And knowing that's basketball, teams are going to go on runs. We go on runs too, so that's just how it goes.
When you go through a scoring drought like that in the fourth quarter, how do you lock in when it is crunch time? You guys responded with an 8-0 run. What do you do to lock back in at the end of the game?
Oh, just getting stops, that knowing shots are going to fall eventually, You don't want to go on a scoring drought, but that's basketball. That happens sometimes. So you just keep playing, keep fighting through it, figure it out.
Tonight's thrilling moment brought to you by FanDuel Casino. Get your thrill on. And Alan Anunoby, the 16, only 1 of 6 from downtown, but really did a nice job driving to the basket.
Felt like he had 4 dunks, maybe even 5 dunks in this game. Look at him set up Wolf for this one and just rose up over him. I liked his activity. It's another strong finish. He knew there's really no shot blocking out there, so if the threes aren't going down, they weren't for him like they weren't for a lot of Knicks. He did it all going to the basket, going into the paint. All right, I think that's 5. Everything we've shown so far from him has been a dunk. Is this the 3 he made?
Yeah, the only one.
Yes, it is. Okay.
1 of 6, yeah.
So that's pretty incredible when you think about his stat line, where he has 7 field goals. I think he had 4 with 5 dunks, 1 3. It's that's again what you have to do when you're him. He also brought it defensively as well because he got you a block shot and 2 steals. But the one thing, he only hit 1 3. So normally when he hits 2, the Knicks are almost guaranteed to win. Tonight he only hits the 1. 16 points though for OG Anunoby, and it's just good to see him continue to have that ability to take it to the rim and finish strong.
Here from the Corner 3, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. Knicks only 8 of 29 from downtown.
I'll tell you this: it's the first time this season that they have won a game shooting under 28% from 3. This is the 10th time they've shot under 28, so they're 1 in 9. This is the first time they've won. Normally, when they're shooting this poorly from 3, they are not going to win the game.
Nets made 14 threes. Knicks made only 8, but it was the Knicks outscoring, as we mentioned in our first segment. Knicks outscoring the Nets from the line by 13 points, and that was key. They got to the line a lot.
Got to get to the basket, draw the fouls.
So the Knicks sweep the season series of the Nets from the Nets, 4-0, and overall the Knicks have won 5 games in a row. Jordi Fernandez used to coach under Mike Brown in Sacramento.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
So, Alan, Detroit wins, Boston wins, Knicks win, Cavs idle.
And you still have 2 more games in this run of 7 against teams with a losing record. You want to keep taking care of business because it's going to get real. And that one game right there, you're talking about in the win column with the Celtics, there's still 1 more game against Boston to play as well.
All right, so here's what's ahead. Wizards Sunday, 7 pregame, 7:30 game. Then New Orleans comes to town. Then the Knicks are at the Surging Hornets, at OKC, at the Rockets, at Memphis. Very challenging 4-game road trip.
It's real.
All right, we'll wrap things up when we return right after this. Knicks beat the Nets tonight, 93-92. Next up for the Knicks, they will host the Wizards Sunday night. Pre-game at 7, game at 7:30. You can also stream our coverage on the Gotham Sports App. Want more than just a post-game show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports App. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.